Hi, my name is Tracy Allen, and this video is to explain social groups that exist at the place where I work. I work at Pennington Biomedical Research Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We are affiliated with Louisiana State University and one of the largest university-based research centers in the United States. We do human research here, cancer, botanicals, nutrition, drug studies, women's health, obesity, just to name a few things that we do. I thought I'd give you a tour so you could see what the place looks like, and then we'll talk about the social groups that exist. And I'll interview people. All right, let's have the tour. Okay, I am now in a whole nother area. This is what we call the outpatient clinic. And this is a whole bunch of rooms that you see. This is where we see patients all the way down here. And then I'm gonna walk out. There's a laboratory over there. And I'm going to show you a quick picture of the other nurse's desk that's right here. So you see it's a nursing desk right here. Nobody's here. So I just thought I'd show you that. Okay. Okay, here is a little bit outside of my office. Here's what a typical patient room looks like. This is some things that are set up for the next day to do. Another patient room for more complicated procedures. Here is our biopsy room. We do biopsies. That's where all the magic happens. This is our autoclave room where we sterilize biopsy equipment. Here are some trays that are being processed. Here is a biopsy needle. That's kind of scary. I don't do biopsies in research facilities. They are not fun. And then here is a procedure room. So we do multiple procedures. The other area I'm going to show you is at the end of this hall. It is called the inpatient unit. It's behind the glass doors. It's secured. It's locked. We have cameras everywhere. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. All right. Here we're at the inpatient unit at Pennington. So we're going to go through here and I'll explain to you a little bit about what's going on. We have 10 patient rooms that are set up. And we have a nurse's station. And let's interview Lisa Dalfrey and see how she feels about social cliques here at Pennington. Hi, Lisa. I have a couple questions for you. My first question is, do you think that there are social groups that are set up here at Pennington, and what are they?
I do. I think there's several groups set up. I think we have a group here in the inpatient unit set up of nurses. We have LPNs, RNs, nurse practitioners. We also have, not in this area, we have maintenance and facilities and the cleaning crew. We also have MDs and PhDs and study coordinators and dietitians. And that's about all I can think of.
Yeah, and I can't think of any more either. Why do you think those groups were set up like that, or have been set up like that?
You tend to stay with the people you have similar skills with. Like all the nurses are pretty much in the inpatient unit in one area. The doctors all have offices together. Facilities has their own building. The coordinators all work in the clinic together, so they each have their own social group. I mean, we do migrate to each other's area and talk to them, and we do have to interact with them for different studies, but we all tend to do things with the people we spend the most time with, because I think it's for comfort, and you just get to know everybody, better when you spend 8, 10, 12 hours with them every day.
So what class or group do you put yourself in?
I mean, with the inpatient unit and the nurses, it's the one I'm in because it's the one I spend the most time with.
Yep, and what's your role here?
I'm an LPN.
Okay.
And I've been here 17 years, so I've been here the longest out of everybody here, so I kind of have a lot of stories and know most of the studies that have been done here, so I try to help everybody feel comfortable here and try to have fun, and I don't know.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Lisa, very much.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to interview another employee here at Pennington. This is Brian Gilmore. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Tracy.
You mind if I ask you some questions about social groups here at Pennington?
Absolutely not.
Okay. What types of social groups do you encounter working here at Pennington, and what is your role here?
As far as social groups go, we've got the nurses are a group, we've got our clinic coordinators, we've got researchers, we've got our executives, and then you could even break the researchers down more into basic science versus clinical science.
Okay.
For my role here, my job title is biomedical engineer, and I sort of work for the entire center.
Yeah, I see you're working on a project
right.
here.
I've got a little piece of equipment here with some super glue I'm trying to get working.
Okay,
So,
is it a secret research device?
It is absolutely not a secret
Okay.
research device. It is just a lid for a PCR machine. So,
Okay, all right, awesome. And why do you think social groups have been set up?
I think social groups have been set up just because people are drawn to other people with similar interests. And I think you could also argue that a lot of those similar interests and similar jobs have some socioeconomic drive that also just sort of pulls people together into groups.
Okay, well, cool. All right, well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. All right, I'm going to interview a coordinator this here at Pennington. This is Amy Bramer. Hey, Amy.
Hi.
Hi. Could I ask you a couple questions?
Yes.
Okay, great. What types of social groups do you encounter here at Pennington?
Pennington, especially where I work, is mostly in the clinic. You know, it's mostly made up of female employees, and as everyone knows, females tend to congregate in groups, and they're kind of harder to penetrate. Guys kind of are off on their own, so
Yeah.
mostly with the females, they kind of have their own clique. Or sometimes the coordinators kind of hang out together, and maybe the doctors kind of hang out together.
Yep. All right. What's your role here?
I'm a research coordinator, study
Okay.
coordinator.
Okay. And so why do you think social groups have been set up?
I think everybody wants to feel like they're included. Everybody wants to feel like they're in a pact, in a team. So I think that, you know, safety in numbers, everybody wants to feel like they have somebody on their side or somebody with them, or it's always better to have two heads than one, or it's nice to have a buddy. It's not as less lonely, and it's always good to have somebody to bounce things off of.
Yep, I agree. All righty. Well, thank you very much for your interview.
You're welcome.
All right, so I thought I'd just tie together all that we've seen so far and put it on slides so you can kind of understand it a little bit better. So you can see from where I work that the social groups do exist here. I believe there are several reasons for this. Number one, the building is very spread out, and so we have different areas like the outpatient clinic or the inpatient clinic, and I find that employees in each area tend to group themselves together based on where they work. Secondly, groups occur so we can share the workload and duties. You know, for example, we have nursing, we have kitchen workers, we have exercise physiologists. So we all have skills that we use to get the job done. Each group has developed roles and characteristics based on things that we do and we have learned within each group, like starting an IV or providing a food tray. You could say that we're each a subculture with symbol-based patterns and traditions that distinguishes one group from another. For example, a physician has symbols like his white coat and stethoscope, or a researcher may have gloves and goggles. Number 3, we group for friendship, companionship, and support. We may eat together or even gossip about our coworkers. Number 4, groups are natural. Humans have existed in tribes and families, so it would only seem natural that we would continue to do this at work. Number 5, it helps us solve problems. Number 6, there's security in our system. We work within our system that has rules and constraints that govern what we do. We know that we have cultural rules that provide guidance on how research is done, such as following rights like of the research participant, which is for example, is to inform them about how research is done beforehand and have them sign a consent. The advantages of having groups is that it builds morale. We learn from each other. We have more resources to work with, which is each other, and we can provide support. The disadvantages are the cliques. So you have a clique, so you have people that kind of share a lot of the same common beliefs, and it could be bad beliefs. We don't have any individual thinking. You have peer pressure. It can be unequal, as in some people do more work than others, and then we have loss of creativity. You can't think outside the group sometimes, or you have mob thinking, which is sometimes not good. All right, if I have to talk about hierarchies, I would have to say that this is the hierarchies that I've kind of thought about that exist here. I would say the MDs and PhDs are probably at the top. The postdocs, which are new PhDs that are just learning. They're underneath that. Then there are what we call mid-levels, which are nurse practitioner, physician assistants, which I am a mid-level, which is already puts me in a hierarchy since I'm mid. I'm not at the top and I'm not at the bottom. Then in that same group, I would say there's engineers, dietitians, pharmacists, administrators, and master's levels researchers. Under them, I would consider the research associates, administrative assistants, and lab assistants to be that next level. And I would say at the lower level would be kitchen workers, students, housekeepers, and maintenance. And if you look at this is all based on education. And that's just how the system works. And lastly, I'd like to say that I don't like cliques, and I definitely don't like hierarchies. I didn't like them when I was in high school, and I don't like them now. So if you're in a clique, that means someone is on the inside and other people are on the outside. And so how does that make them feel to not be included? It defeats what we all do here, which is to make the world a better place. So if we rank each other and divide ourselves, how do we ever expect to make any progress in the world? We all have different talents and abilities that we can use to help make the whole greater than the sum of its parts. And thank you for listening.